Do you ever buy a ton of things and just hope that it fixes your life? Yeah, well, I just did that. So today we're going to talk about hopefully how all of these things can possibly fix me and my writing routine that is going down the drain. It has been already a very long day and it is only the morning. I actually just found out that I have adult ADHD, which looking back now, I should have known forever because I feel like I'm a walking, talking poster child for a woman with ADHD. Getting the diagnosis has been super helpful to understand how my brain works, finally, instead of beating myself up all the time. But it's also been a little bit discouraging as well. It's kind of like, okay, I knew something was wrong with me, and it's not that something is wrong with me, but my brain is a bit different than others, I guess. As someone who needs routine, I've always struggled with routine. And I did quit my corporate baddie job. I do have a new job now that takes a lot less brain space, but without the corporate job and confines of the job, I need to kind of create my own guardrails to make sure I'm getting things done and achieving my goals. It's also been a bit discouraging because unfortunately I was put on medication and I'm allergic to it, which I'm allergic to actually quite a lot of medication, so it feels like it was bound to happen. So now I got to feel the effects of medication and damn, it was like the first time that my brain was quiet and I was focused. And now I'm back to loud scatterbrain. So I'm having a hard time. And feeling scatterbrained affects every part of my life. It affects my mornings, how I wake up. It affects how I clean my house, how I take care of myself, if I work out or not, if I read or not, if I'm writing, how I'm posting on YouTube, and now how I'm also doing the podcast. It has this trickle-down effect to where I now just feel overwhelmed. And I need help to reset what I'm doing, what are my goals, and what are the routines I'm going to create to make sure I achieve these goals. I've done a lot of research on how to build routines with someone with ADHD and understanding how my brain works, and I have stumbled across Sara Cannon's HB90 plan in the past, and I'm going to be using a little bit of it today in this video. Disclaimer, I have not taken the HB90 course. I am just piecing and parting what I like from the HB90 system and trying to utilize it for myself. So this video may be a little bit more chaotic than normal, but I'm going to try to make it as organized as I want my life to become. Here are the things that I bought that I think can fix my life. We'll see. I bought these felt pin boards. They're just like black squares. They kind of look like soundproofing boards. And I'm just going to stick them on my wall to help create my Kanban board. I also got all of these gorgeous new sticky notes and some pretty pins for the pin board. And then the main star is this tool notebook. It is the A5 size, so a little bit smaller than letter size, but you can take out these pages and put them back in and kind of create your own planner. This is what it started to look like when I put the felt boards up on the wall. I have 3 more, I just don't know what to do with them, but you can see that each column is going to be a goal, and up at the top, it's going to be my to-do list, and then what I'm doing, and then at the bottom, it's what I've completed for each goal. Once I got that up on the wall, it was time to honestly map out my Q4 goals. I haven't done this since the beginning of the year, and this took me quite some time, but this was such a nice exercise to do, especially as we do get into the burn months. Some main goals of mine are things like the YouTube channel, obviously, the podcast, and my project House of Stone. There's of course some other fun things, like I do have an idea for a board game, sew my own capsule wardrobe, and honestly another good goal would be to focus on creating things without seeing a monetary return. There's also things with my health, like establish a better fitness routine and focus on the health goals that are going to help my PCOS diagnosis. But after really sitting with it, I realized that the YouTube and the podcast are along the same overarching goal of growing a writing community. And then for House of Stone, my ideal would be to finish draft 1, and then start revisions before the end of the year. And I think I can really do it. I'm really also thinking of leaning into this creating something for myself that's not for money, because I haven't done that in quite some time. Hi, Mo. Hi. Okay. Your little toesies can be in it. Your little toe beans. I'm going to speed through this next part because this took me quite a lot of time, but what I'm doing is just taking those big goals. I'm really focusing on the first two, is that growing a writing community and my project House of Stone, getting done with that first draft and starting revisions. What I'm doing now is just breaking those goals into smaller projects and smaller tasks. What you'll also see is I realized that doing every small task per one sheet of sticky note wasn't very effective. So then I tried to cut them up into smaller pieces, but I eventually changing it again. I went through a lot of trial and error, trying to figure out what was the best way to consolidate these smaller tasks within my bigger goals. If you haven't worked on your Q4 goals yet, take the time to do so now. Figure out, what do I want to accomplish by the end of this year? And then break down that goal into smaller tasks that seem achievable. We can all get our goals done, one bite-sized task at a time. This is what the board is looking like after about an hour of goal setting. Everything up top is everything that I want to accomplish. The middle is what I'm currently working on. And then the bottom is what I've completed. And I think I've figured out a system that works for me. So let's move over to my first goal, which this is going to be that growing my writing community goal. So everything in red is YouTube, in blue is the podcast, and then in white are things that are going to grow that writing community, like social media and other to-do lists. I ended up putting all of my episodes just on one sticky note, and then I have like checklists. So once I'm done with that, which actually I need to move episode 1 through 3. I'm working on here. So I can check those off, move it. And here's a good example of what I'm doing. So I have one goal to secure 9 more interviews for the podcast. I've already secured 2 out of the 9 since I made this goal sheet, which is pretty great. So once I complete all these 9 check boxes, then I can move it to my completed. And see, I did that here for my rebrand. I already did the header, intro, and outro. Once that was done, I moved it down. So I've already been simultaneously working on my stuff while making this board. And this is where I'm going to put all of my next videos. I'm trying to plan right now. I don't know how many videos I want to make till the end of the year. 30 feels like so much, but I have so many good ideas. I just want to give them all to you. So I need to plan out those videos, make sure I have everything tied to a date, make those goal sheets, and then they'll go here. So I'm liking how this one turned out. This chaos board is my writing goal. So this is Project House of Stone, and then last minute I tacked on my nonfiction essays in brown. So I just also threw really any writing goals into this one column. So what I've already done that you guys have seen, and I actually changed, I'll have to update you guys on that, was outline my entire book. That is done. I'm working on my chapter by chapter 0 draft. I'm also writing an essay, like a nonfiction creative writing essay. So that is my working on sheet. Here's everything I want to do. So just focusing on Project House of Stone. After I finish my chapter by chapter 0 draft, the next steps are to take notes on that 0 draft. Then I need to actually write draft 1. So this actually comes next as complete draft 1, print out draft 1, and then take revising notes by the end of the year. All of these little tabs are my writing count goals. So, once I start my actual prose draft, I can move the 5K down to my to-do board. Once 5K is done, I move it to completed, and then I move 10K down. See what I mean? So it's just like a nice visual representation of where I'm at in the book. I also wanted to finish, my goal was to finish 5 essays by the end of the year. I would like to edit them. So this is another check piece. Once I'm editing them, I can move it to my I'm currently doing board. And then my main goal is I want to publish at least 1 writing piece. Kind of a lofty goal, but we're gonna try to get there. So that's what I'm doing for my writing goals. So this is how it looks so far. Okay, so this is me taking a break from creating the wall that I just did, which that was a lot. That was honestly a lot. And the Kanban board is gonna help me visually see progress, as well as remind me what I need to work on next. So anytime I have a project within those goals, I'm gonna put it on the to-do, and then I can be reminded when I do have breaks. There's so many times in my day where I'm like, what should I be doing? And I don't know. And then the next thing I know, the whole day has passed and I didn't get anything done. And I have a lot to be working towards, and I want to make sure I'm completing my goals. So this can help me visually see how much I need to do before the end of the year and remind me what I can move into my currently doing task list. And then I will break that up into my weekly, daily plans, which is what we're about to get into. So I'm testing out a new system because honestly, I'm someone who loves planners. I've bought a million different types all throughout school, all throughout my adulthood, cannot find anything that I like. So I bought this tool notebook that I was just taking notes in. I ordered, this is a smaller size, it's not letter. It's like this has in my head. It's A5, so it's like a junior size. I ordered A5 paper, and I'm actually making my own planner pages and then printing them out. This is a project within itself. I want it to be a very personalized planner experience. Let's create my dream planner. Okay, so let's take a look at what is going to be my dream planner and what is right now a mess. I bought specific A5 paper, but But since I'm doing this video and I thought it would be good to practice, and I'm glad that I did, I just printed out the sheets that I made on Canva on regular letter size paper. Oh, spoiler alert, my desk is a mess. But you can see this is letter size paper, and so I cut it down to the size that I need. Now, if you look closely, you can see that I might be able to write, but I cannot cut in a straight line. Look at that. I've never been able to cut in a straight line, but I am so glad that I'm testing this out because I got this, what is this? What is this? I got, what is this called? A hole puncher? There we go. I got this hole puncher specifically for this notebook because it has these mushroom, you can see my remnants. I accidentally dumped those out. So we're having a good time. You can see that these hole punches are like mushroom shaped and I don't have that. So this is specifically for this planner. There's 4 though, so I have to like punch it and then punch it. I am so glad that I tested this out before I got the right paper because it's taken some trial and error. But I want to show you what it will eventually look like. And I'm sure during one of my writing updates, we'll be able to see this planner that I made in action. So the first thing I did was I just made a month sheet for every month that's left. Now a quarter is usually 3 months, so Q4 is actually October, November, and December, but we are coming to the end of September, so I wanted to still include that month. So I have my month at just a wide view, and in this, I'm probably going to be writing down actual life events. So for example, I have 2 weddings in a row. So I have like a wedding and a wedding. I would write probably a lot better than that, but weddings, right? And I have a rehearsal dinner because I'm in that wedding and more. So this is probably going to be like life events. I then have a calendar, look at that, for every month specifically for content. So I'm planning for this video, for example, to go up on either the 19th or the 20th, probably the night of the 19th or AM of the 20th. So let's just do my reset video here, right? Which I want to change my days to Wednesday again because I feel like Friday is too late, but that is where I'm going to put my content plan. And we know the podcast launches on Monday, September 23rd. You guys can see how bad my handwriting is when I write fast, which is funny because actually in my life planner, this is my wedding anniversary, September, popular month to get married, everybody. So that's for life. This is for content. Also, when I print this out for real with the paper, it's most likely going to be on the back. You see how like this is just blank? So I'll probably have the content plan on the back of this sheet, most likely. We'll see. But I did that for every month. So we have September, October content, now November, and then I was just getting to December, and I mean, look at that. Right, so this was me practicing putting these pages in. I also messed up and I got these actually really cute like binder dividers, but for this notebook, because they have the mushroom, they have like the mushroom hole punch, but I got them in letter size and I had no idea. Like it was buried in the Amazon title. So now I've had to cut these down. I have a label maker as well. This thing is so cute. And so I printed out like September. So I also cut this down wrong. So I'm glad I got a lot of the dividers because this is just, it's an arts and craft. It's a trial and error. So you see how like these 4 line up and these don't. That's when I knew I was in for a rough time. I also cut this to the size of the paper, but I realized that A5 is going to be a little bit bigger. It's going to be like to here. So that means I'm going to have to cut my divider so that it sticks out, I think, at the end, so that when I close this, you'll be able to like see it. So then I'm probably going to have September, October, November, December, and then a House of Stone tab for my writing, which I'll show you what I printed out for that. So I made a weekly planner. This is pretty close to what Sara Cannon does in her HB90 method, which is what I'm taking this from. I'm taking the Kanban boards from that, and I took this weekly spread. That's kind of what I cherry picked from that method. I don't know if the other stuff would have worked for me. Sara Cannon does a lot of like time blocking, and to be honest, it was just a lot of math, and I need my time to be flexible, and I don't want to have to commit to too many things or commit to X amount of time that much. So I just picked what works for me. This weekly planner goes from Monday to Sunday, and this is more of like a brain dump. So I'm going to be just saying anything really that comes to mind that I know I need to do in these days, reminders, just a true brain dump as I plan my week. I also like that Sara had this work in progress box. So this is for your writing specifically. So I can try to put like a little mini writing goal, or I know I have to work on like, you know, chapter 7 and 8 this week, right? So I can put something here. She also had this habits box that I made bigger and put above the notes. So notes is down here, but then habits, I put a slot for 5 habits. There's 7 boxes. So that's where I can do my habit tracking for anything I want to keep track of right in my weekly planner. Another weekly layout that I have is this weekly posting planner. So just like how we have a monthly overview of life and then a weekly overview, we're going to have a monthly overview of content and a weekly overview of content with a lot more things involved. So on that month planner, I'm probably going to be talking mostly about podcast episodes and YouTube videos. I want to be better about posting on Instagram, so I want to try to keep track of what I'm posting there because I'm horrible at it, and I want to be posting more daily, as well as getting into shorts and reels. I'm not that excited about this, but we will see how it goes. So then I can have my little weekly posting planner where I know like a deadline for these things with a week's notice, but I also can start to do my to-do list of what I need to do and accomplish to get to those goals each week. And then finally we have my daily. I love this. So I took like 3 different Canva templates and made this my own. It's exactly what I want in a daily planner. So we have the day of the week at the top that I can circle, and then the date, as well as my mood. Now the original one gave me a couple different moods, like one with like a sunglasses and another one, but they all just looked a little too happy. And maybe that's me being cynical, but I instead have like a happy, content, and then this will be my not so happy. And then I put space so I can actually write my actual mood. I have boxes for this is food planning, labeling food as energy because that's what it is, movement. So what type of movement am I doing that day? Is it walking 5 miles, which is 10,000 steps? Is it tennis, bar, Pilates, swimming, roller derby? Those are all my movements. And then I have 3 teardrops here because I try to drink my water bottle 3 times a day. So I'm going to color those in. Then I have my schedule for time blocking just to kind of plan out my day, like my ideal. I know myself though, and I'm not that great at sticking to time blocking, but it is helpful to visually see my ideal day. And hopefully I stick to it, but that is where I'm going to time block out everything I have to do. I also have my top priorities. A lot of things would only give you 3 priorities, and I always feel like I had more. So I gave myself 1 more just in case. So these are the main things I need to do that day. And then my to-do list. A lot of templates also had like lines set up for the to-do list, you know? I don't like that because again, I could have a lot more to do than the lines given. So I just made this blank and I can write in whatever I want. And then also a notes section, which I find so helpful for any page. I think I even have it on all of these planner pages. I have these like dots that I can put notes in because I am a scribbler, like a note taker. So that's very helpful for me. Okay, now we're gonna get to the writing pages for House of Stone and talk about my writing routine. So I actually took this method from Rachel Kitch. I actually interview her for the podcast. Definitely go give her a follow on her socials and listen out for when her podcast episode will be. But she has this amazing template on Canva and she has it for free linked in her bio. So go follow her on Instagram, grab her template if this is something that can help you. But it is a digital tracker for her chapters. I have just realized, I think, over the last couple of months, especially sharing my journey with all of you, that I do better when I plan physically. I can have a digital thing, but I need a physical thing more. So I took her method that she had because I loved the visualness of like coloring in, you know, these bubbles, probably prettier and with cute colors, but you know, each color is going to relate to a step. So outlining, which is my chapter by chapter outline, taking notes on that, started, meaning I've started writing the prose and then I've completed the prose chapter. Because this aligns with my goals that we just saw for the quarter, which is I want to finish 0 draft and finish first draft and take revising notes. So I can go into the new year, hopefully doing revisions. So that aligns with my goal for House of Stone by the end of the year. And I made kind of a more visual tracker for that in my planner. I have this I have 50 chapters in my book. And so I have this for every chapter. I also just have another visual way to look at word count. I know that I also do this on my Kanban board, but I wanted it in my journal as well in case I was like out at a coffee shop writing and I just wanted to like scribble in that I, you know, got to this word count. I am estimating that I'm probably going to hit 120,000 words, which is why I have these bubbles, and that's what I put on my Kanban board. But we will see where I actually end up prose-wise. Nonetheless, I thought this is going to be a fun, motivational tool in my planner. Now that we have talked about my dream planner, let's quickly talk about my writing routine. When I first met you guys on YouTube, my original goal was, I think, to write like 2,000 words a day, which is insane. I found out. I thought it was going to be fine because I had quit my job and I was focusing mostly on writing and YouTube just in that little period. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. I quickly found out that no, I cannot do that. Then I just tried to do, I think I dwindled it down to like 1,000 a day. No. I have realized something about myself in this journey is that I am not motivated to hit a word count daily. And I feel like this is something you need to learn about yourself when you're trying to create a writing routine. How are you motivated to write? Now, when it comes to word count tracking, like I'm doing in these pages, coloring in a circle, let's say I hit, this feels sacrilegious because I haven't even started my prose draft yet, but coloring in $5K. This feels like a treat. I don't know if what I'm going to say makes any sense, but this feels like a little treat. This feels like I accomplished something and now I go get a sweet little treat. You know, filling in the bubble excites me, but the daunting task of like hitting the word count every day does not excite me at all. It feels like an unexpected treat for the work I'm doing. So in order to build a good writing routine, I had to ask myself, what motivates me? The answer to what motivates me is a complicated one, especially with writing. But it all comes down, I mean, I've had people ask me this on my Instagram and in the comments as well, is just what motivates you to keep writing? What really ultimately motivates me is the potential outcome of being a full-time writer. This is the dream. This is the absolute dream. And it's no joke to get here. So if I'm not motivated by word count, but I am motivated about the outcome and the want from writing, I still know that I need to have a daily practice. I listened to a podcast episode, and I'm going to put it up here and I'll link it down below as well, where a full-time writer talked about her writing routine. And basically what she said is she just had to write. This is going to sound ridiculous and a no-brainer, but maybe it unlocks something in you like it did me. She just had to write every day. That was it. It could be for 10 minutes. It could be 10 words. It didn't matter. She just had to write every day. And I don't know what about that clicked for me better than trying to set a word count every day. But that is going to be my new writing routine. I know that I'm not motivated by word count, so I'm not going to hold myself to a word count per day threshold. Instead, I'm going to just really push myself to write every single day. That is the most important part. I also know that I write better in the morning, unfortunately. So if I write at night for like a live, it's going to be a treat outside of this. So I know that I need to build in writing time every morning. With the way that my work schedule goes right now, I don't have like meetings in the morning. I'm taking calls and doing a lot more admin work on the back end. I have to start my day at 8 a.m. I'm also doing this to show you guys that everyone's writing routine is going to be so different. It needs to work for you. So if anyone's trying to tell you that they've unlocked the secret magic writing routine, no. Listen to it and try to implement it and think if it's right for you. Becca recently had an amazing video on writing routines. Highly recommend checking hers out. It was absolutely wonderful and the exact type of advice you'd want. I'm taking a lot of that to heart actually, and this is how I'm trying to find mine. So I know that I start my day at 8 a.m. This is when I start. I end my day at 4. Which is really nice. This is work hours, but I don't have set meetings. I have 3 set admin tasks to do. And I know that I can't start one until 11 a.m. That means 11 to 1 becomes my big actual admin working block time. 9 to 11 is open. I know that all I have to do every day is write something in between 9 to 11 a.m. Some days I might only write from 9 to 10, some from 10 to 11, maybe only 9 to 9:30, doesn't matter. I just know that this is my writing window. Something has to get done. If you're someone who works in like more of a corporate job like I previously was in, and you have a lot of meetings, then maybe this is all blocked off for you. There's no writing time during the day. That's when it's best for you to look at any writing times before your day starts and after your day starts, or taking some sort of lunch break in the middle and just committing to even 10 to 30 minutes every single day, if that's going to work for you. That's how I'm going to start approaching my writing. No more word counts, just commitment. And hopefully this new planner can help me do just that. Oh, how the mighty have fallen in terms of how I look when doing all of this all day. But thank you so much for sticking around if you have until the end. And if you have stayed, make sure to comment a bee emoji to signify how busy of a bee I'm going to be for the rest of the quarter. Also, shameless plug, but if you don't know already, I don't know how you don't know, but if you don't, my new podcast, Pen to Pod, is coming out Monday, September 23rd. All of the episodes will be posted on this YouTube channel, so you don't have to go anywhere else. But if you want to listen to an audio-only version, you can also follow on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. So go give a follow, leave a review, leave a rating, help us out. I'm so excited. I've said before, but I take making writing content very seriously. And while I consider myself an expert in critiquing and analyzing and breaking down the story, I'm not as much of an expert in writing a full book and publishing that book. So I wanted to make sure that I was bringing those resources to you, and that's what you will get in this podcast. So don't forget to follow along. But until then, I will see you in the next video. Bye, writers.